Okay, so the first thing I want to show you guys is the Wild Fro into a clean channel. So that's VX100 clean with the Strat. This is how it sounds straight in without it engaged. Okay, and let's throw it in. There's a little bit of tone added just above 12 o'clock. As you can hear, it's just adding a little bit of warmth and giving you that little bit of gain. I actually really like it on the neck pickup. It sounds really good. So if I start boosting the gain, you'll just notice it gets a bit more gainy, of course. But it's still quite subtle because without the more gain switching, it was what I wanted it to do, was just be better for like single chord guitars and stuff. So even at halfway, it's not overkill. So still sounding great. Now where you start to notice it really kick in with the clipping is when you push it beyond halfway. So now. Yep, and then as we boost it to full, that's where you're going to notice a lot of a difference. So that's basically how you'd use it with a Strat on a clean without the more gain switch engaged. I did boost the tone a little bit, but other than that, tried to keep everything 12 o'clock, and the gain, you've got quite a big scope really to use with a single chord, with a lower output guitar. Okay, so what we'll do really quickly is show you the more gain, how it sounds. So we'll go back to that sort of light push. So this is the light push tone we had. And then I throw on the more gain. We'll do the same at halfway. So this is without. And then in at halfway. And then with the more gain in. So then at 3/4 where you do start to notice without the more gain how much you're adding. So throw the more gain in. then of course on full, so without, and then throw it in. So yeah, I mean, there's a huge spectrum of gain using a lower output single coil guitar into a clean channel. Anyway, let's move on to the Les Paul. So I've got the Les Paul. This is how it sounds into the clean. Haven't touched the amp, just straight in. And then gain on quarter, more gain not engaged. So let's throw the more gain in at this stage. So it is still pretty low gain. Let's boost it to halfway without more gain in. Sounds good. Throw in the more gain. It's still lacking a little bit of that sustain for proper lead, but you know, it's a good feel. Right, so let's put it back without the more gain. This is 3/4. It's like a thick rock rhythm, throw the more gain in. So it's starting to feel really good, especially when you start playing lead, and it's like a thick. To me, that's like closer to like an American high gain rhythm channel. Right, put the gain on full. Here we go. And then more gain. So there's tons of gain, particularly when you're using humbuckers. It just goes, and it becomes that thick, saturated kind of tone. So what we'll do now is we'll try it on a bit of a crunch, see how it blends with a crunch, use something a bit more modern, see what kind of heavier sort of metal tones we can get out of it. So let's do that now. Okay, so I've got my ML3 beer loaded with a silo bridge, and it's a 60s, I forget the model, but it's a 60s bare knuckle single coil in the neck. Yeah, and I put it on a crunch, so this is just a light crunch. I'll say light crunch, this is 10 o'clock on the crunch. So now if we throw in the wild throw at quarter gain, the more gain switch is not engaged. We should notice it'll tighten up the low end, especially on this channel, like an overdrive, it's just got more clipping stages. So we'll notice that and should give us more gain. So it did exactly what I thought it would. It tightened up the low end, give us a bit more gain, more compression. I like it. So let's boost it to halfway. Before and after. Sounds great. Right, let's boost it to 3/4. So before and now with. That's really good. Full gain. So without. And now with. So with full gain on a crunch, you get tight low end and a lot of gain. For me, it's like a scooped kind of sound. It definitely lends itself to like heavy, like metal, hard rock rhythm tones, but then also give you a creamy, smooth lead or like a high gain shred lead if you wanted it. Something that I thought would be achievable within the remit of a pedal like this. So, so far, it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. Let me just show what happens with the tone, how it affects the high end when we play lead. So keep the gain on full. Drop the tone off a little bit. Drop it off a little bit more. So as you can hear, it doesn't necessarily dull it like in a nasty way. It just kind of it makes it smoother at the top, less fizz, which depending on the style of lead playing you like, is a handy little thing. So next we'll do the more gain, and at this point it's obviously getting into territories where there's going to be tons of gain. Great for lead. Let's see how it handles like heavy rhythm. Here is our drop C. So that's just the crunch. So I'm going to throw it in maybe just over quarter. And now let's throw the more gain in. So it's thick, I'd give it a little bit more gain, so let's push it just over halfway. So let's see how it handles more gain. So it's starting to get to that area where it's like, oh, too much, but it's nice, and there's a really raunchy kind of like something about that tone I'm really enjoying, so that's cool. So just for the sake of it, let's go 3/4. More gain.